Our Media Madness segment tonight, it's been quite a year for the mainstream media, and the website Gradian collected the 10 most terrifying moments from the mainstream media this year. The liberal bias and sheer absurdity of the Trump hatred, it will astound you. Let's take a look at them. With me now from the Conservative Review, Dr. Tom Borelli. Dr. Borelli, good to see you.
Great to see you, Liz. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, sir. All right, let's get started here. We have a lot of these moments. First up on the list, Mika Brzezinski. Go right ahead.
You know, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Dr. Borelli, is that the job of the media, to control what people think?
Absolutely not. And this is where the left-wing media is really going overboard with emotion. And really, when you take a step back, what President Trump is doing, and probably the most important thing he really is doing, is exposing how important institutions like the media have been taken over by left-wing activists. They've lost all objectivity, and it's all emotion. And when you're emotionally involved, you can't report the facts.
No, and I can't think of anything more terrifying than Mika Brzezinski trying to control what we think here. All right, next on the list, ABC's Brian Ross. This might be the worst media malpractice that we've seen under the guise of a mistake all year. Take a look.
Oh, breaking news. ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah!
Look at that joy on her face. Too bad that wasn't true. It seems to me that it was a bit too much of a coincidence for that large of an error to actually be a mistake.
Yeah, and look at the way it was orchestrated, right? Brian Ross got it wrong from the news division, and they put it on The View. Really, it's a version of propaganda, and you have everybody cheering. But, you know, the good news is it was fake news, and they had to come back the next day and say, oops, we were wrong. And again, the media is really exposing just how bad they are with respect to their coverage, with the emotion, and really the cheerleading. We need a really aggressive media to report the facts, not to be cheerleaders for the left.
Well, that was the other thing that compounded the mistake, and I'm struggling not putting that in quotation marks. They didn't come back the next day and say, oops. They barely covered the fact that they got the entire date wrong, which undermined the entire premise of their quote-unquote smoking gun here. They didn't even apologize for it. They just said that they had a little mistaken source information. Well, shame on them. All right, next up here, Jimmy Kimmel, America's conscience, as he's now known, on healthcare. Take a look.
No parent should ever have to decide if they can afford to save their child's life. It just shouldn't happen. Not here. So please stop texting for 5 seconds and make a phone call, especially call these senators. These are their numbers right there on the screen. A number of other lawmakers who won't do anything about this because the NRA has their balls in a money clip also sent their thoughts and their prayers today, which is good. They should be praying. They should be praying for God to forgive them for letting the gun lobby run this country.
All right, Dr. Borelli, I want to ask you this. I mean, he's a very compelling actor. It's very entertaining to watch these skits. Has he gotten anything factually accurate about healthcare or about the NRA, gun control, or our Second Amendment rights?
No, absolutely not. It's been reported he's been getting a lot of talking points from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. So there's a direct line from, a left-wing senator to late-night TV. To tell you the truth, I know it's before your time. I really miss Johnny Carson because that was entertaining. And it's really sad these days. Everything we do, everything we see has really been politicized. You can't go to an NFL game without being insulted. You can't watch late-night TV without being insulted. It really is a distraction. It's unfortunate.
Right, and I think it shows how desperate the Democrats are, too, that they have to stoop to using celebrities crying on air in order to get any support for their agenda, that they don't trust the American people to actually support it when you give them the facts. You have to use celebrities and you have to use tears. That's pathetic, in my opinion. All right, next up, liberals blaming guns for the horrible mass murder in Las Vegas. Take a look.
Is that potentially impeachable if it's an obstruction of justice?
You were saying that this could lead down the road to impeachment, but we weren't anywhere near that yet. Does this breaking news tonight change your view on that?
Are we getting closer and closer to the possibility of yet another impeachment process?
So in terms of impeachment, are you taking action, working with Republicans, or doing anything that would actually move that agenda forward?
Do you harbor any hopes that you will find a conservative legal mind to match your desire to proceed with impeachment on the—
Are you suggesting that President Trump should face impeachment?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Congressman, what is your case for impeachment?
Explain. Yeah. What do you think of this impeachment possibility? What's more needed to prove obstruction of justice than the president fires the guy coming after him after asking him to drop the case? What more do you need?
Is that impeachment is the remedy. I mean, the president can't... It's the only remedy.
All right, clearly I promoted the wrong video there. That was a montage of all of the liberal talking heads across the mainstream media, across the board, that they immediately pivoted to impeaching Trump the day after President Trump legally fired FBI Director James Comey here. It was like it seemed like a coordinated narrative that fire Comey, don't worry about whether that was legal, Democrats call for impeachment.
No, you're absolutely right, Liz, and that's a really good point. A lot of this really is coordinated. If you watch a lot of daytime TV, which I happen to do because of my job, you see the same message points all the time, either from the Democrat talking heads and also from the left-wing media. They're really leading the witness. They want impeachment, and if the person being interviewed doesn't want to go with that, they just keep hammering until they get the soundbite that they want. It's really kind of, it's fixed from the top.
It is, and it just shows that they only have this agenda to take Trump out. And even though during the campaign they were so worried about quote-unquote threats to our democracy, they don't even look at the rule of law before they call for something that would clearly be a threat to our democracy, impeaching a president over something that is not a high crime or a misdemeanor. And now we get to the video that actually is about liberals blaming guns for Las Vegas. Take a look at this.
Why don't we act? What is the problem? What was it about first graders losing their lives that wasn't sad enough to result in changes?
To the people of Las Vegas, I can't give you thoughts and prayers. I can only say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we live in a world where there are people who will put a gun before your lives.
In your heart, you bear some responsibility for the fact that almost anyone can get any weapon they want.
That kind of a dialogue in this country. No other Western nation has the number of gun deaths that we have in America, and we need to talk.
These are the face of the senators who, days after the shooting in Orlando, voted against a bill that would have closed those loopholes. These are the 56 senators who didn't want to do anything.
Dr. Borelli, this one is the most upsetting to me of all of these different moments, because it seems to me that the Democrats, and of course they use Jimmy Kimmel again, they use their talking heads here to purport their narrative. They are using tragedy. They are using emotion. They are exploiting victims of mass shootings to push their own gun control agenda. There was nothing in Las Vegas there were no laws that would have stopped the shooting in Las Vegas. This is not about a firearm. It's not about our right to bear arms. It's about evil people that do evil things. Yet Democrats stoop so low as to blame legal gun owners for horrible mass murders.
No, that's what they do. It's all emotion, devoid of facts, and the go home for the left is always simple. If it's a storm, it's global warming. If someone gets shot tragically, it's the gun's fault. And they really ignore the larger point of really what could have stopped something like that. And going back to Las Vegas shooting, we still don't know what's really going on or what happened. And where's the media every day pounding the streets to find out what really happened? Because the answer isn't guns. The answer is something else, and we don't know it. And that's, again, a problem with our institutions today. The media should be aggressively pursuing the truth, not their own political agenda, not the anti-gun agenda, especially exploiting people's emotions.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Actually, I think it was just this morning the news broke that the law enforcement in Las Vegas aren't going to release the full report until next October 1st, a year after this attack took place. But the media have no interest. I mean, they could dredge this up if they wanted to. They have no interest in doing that because they assigned blame based off of their own political agenda, and they're happy to let it lie at that, even though I don't think the American people are happy to let it lie at that. Dr. Borelli, I appreciate you coming on the show, sir. Thanks for being here, and have a Merry Christmas. All right, you have 1 minute to tweet me at Liz_Wheeler before we're back with Jim Hansen. Attorney General Jeff Sessions directing prosecutors to interview FBI agents about the Hillary Clinton Uranium One deal. Does this signal an investigation into Russian corruption and collusion by the Clintons? We'll see you for that in a moment.